And Malaysia's manufacturing sector has registered a further loss of momentum during October.
This will result in Tianjin Zinyuan Investment Group Limited owning about 33% of Perwaja shares initially.
Sementara itu, bagi 709 bekas pekerja Perwaja Steel sendiam rehat.
In the midst of Malaysia's busy environment of economic progress, a steel giant rose to prominence, forging its way forward by way of ambition and invention. Perwaja Steel, which was once seen as a ray of light for the nation's future industrial development, left an indelible imprint in the annals of Malaysia's GDP contribution. Perwaja Steel became the linchpin of the nation's industrial sector and contributed significantly to the consolidation of the economic underpinnings as a result of its blazing steel furnaces and relentless labor from its personnel. Perwaja Steel's ascent was like a symphony of development. It could be heard all throughout the country. Perwaja Steel, the country's largest steel manufacturer, was a major contributor to Malaysia's explosive economic growth and its subsequent rise to prominence on the international stage. In recent years, the once-revered Perwaja Steel Industry, which was previously seen as a sign of Malaysia's future industrial development and economic potential, has seen a precipitous decline. What were the main factors that led to the downfall of the Perwaja Steel Industry? Stay with us to find out. 1. Background and growth of Perwaja Steel. Perwaja Steel was founded in 1982 as a state-owned steel firm with the aspirational goal of becoming a significant participant in the steel industry on a worldwide scale. Perwaja Steel soon rose to prominence as Malaysia's largest steel manufacturer, thanks to backing from the government and huge financial expenditures. The company is responsible for the employment of thousands of people and has made a significant contribution to the expansion of Malaysia's economy. Perwaja Steel's goal in building an integrated steel factory in Kemen, Terengganu was to lessen the nation's reliance on foreign steel imports and increase the amount of steel that was produced domestically. 2. Mismanagement and corporate governance issues. The widespread mismanagement and corporate governance flaws at Perwaja Steel contributed significantly to the company's ultimate demise. Years of allegations of corruption, nepotism, and money theft damaged the company's reputation and slowed its growth. Investor trust was eroded, and opportunities for partnerships and collaboration were thwarted, in part because management was not open and accountable. Delays in project implementation, cost overruns, and lowered quality standards resulted from Perwaja Steel's inadequate decision-making procedures, excessive bureaucracy, and inefficient organizational structure. As a result, the firm's financial resources were stretched thin, and it was less able to compete successfully in the global steel market. The company's long-term survival and operational efficiency were both damaged by management mistakes at Perwaja Steel. 3. Economic challenges and global market dynamics. Significant economic difficulties and negative market dynamics contributed to the decline of Perwaja Steel, which was already on a downward trend. Perwaja Steel faced substantial challenges to its long-term viability because of the fluctuating worldwide pricing of steel, an excess of steel on the international market, and rising competition from steelmakers in nations such as China and South Korea, who were more productive and technologically sophisticated than Perwaja Steel. The failure of the industry to adjust to shifting conditions in the market and make the necessary technological improvements severely undermined the industry's position in the competitive landscape. In addition, the Asian financial crisis that occurred in 1997 and subsequent economic downturns in Malaysia had an impact on the investment climate, as well as the demand within the steel sector. It became increasingly difficult for Perwaja Steel to operate in a profitable manner as a result of decreased government subsidies, increased interest rates, and restricted access to capital. Due to shifting worldwide pricing and the rising cost of transportation, the industry's substantial reliance on imported raw materials, such as iron ore and coal, further stressed its financial resources. 4. Impact on the Malaysian economy. There was widespread economic distress in Malaysia with the collapse of Perwaja Steel. Since it was such a sizable steel producer, its bankruptcy resulted in a large number of workers and their families losing employment and becoming economically insecure. The loss of industrial capacity at the Kemen Integrated Steel Mill was only one of the consequences of the facility's closure. The interruptions in the local supply chain also had an impact on the businesses and industries that relied on the mill. There is pressure on national finances as a result of the government's large investments in Perwaja Steel, which have not been recovered. Poor budget allocation diverted funds from other crucial sectors, slowing the expansion of the Malaysian economy and reducing the country's international competitiveness. The Perwaja Steel scandal. The loss of 2.56 billion ringgit Malaysian ringgit is commonly connected with the Perwaja Steel project. One of these scandals, a value closer to 10 billion ringgit, is most realistic. In a 2002 conversation with Malaysians in London, Mahathir confirmed the loss of 10 billion ringgit and acknowledged the possibility of misuse of cash and mismanagement at Perwaja. In 1982, Heavy Industries Corporation, a government-owned firm, and Nippon Steel Corporation, a Japanese company, formed a joint venture known as Perwaja Steel. Mahathir's ambition for industrialization included this showpiece project. Terengganu is home to a 1 billion ringgit steel factory that was established to meet the rising demand for steel in Malaysia. Unfortunately, Perwaja ran into production issues and was stuck with substantial debt. The borrowing costs were rising as the yen was appreciating at the time of the loan. Nippon Steel abandoned the project in 1987. In 1988, Mahathir called up his buddy Eric Chia to turn around Perwaja as CEO. He reported directly to Mahathir and was given free rein to implement any changes he saw as essential in order to improve Perwaja's output. Perwaja received additional finance in the amount of 2 billion ringgit from the government, in addition to loans from Bank Bumiputra in the amount of 860 million ringgit and the Employees Provident Fund in the amount of 130 million. Terengganu and Kedah both saw the construction of brand new facilities. For a period of 7 years, Eric Chia served as the leader of Perwaja. In the beginning, it appeared as though he had been successful in turning around Perwaja. But after he unexpectedly quit in 1995, it became obvious that this was not the case. When Eric Chia took control, the overall losses had ballooned to 2.49 billion, up from 1 billion ringgit previously. Additional debts of 5.7 billion ringgit hampered Perwaja's ability to operate normally. The newly installed leadership of Perwaja compiled an internal report in which it made a number of assertions, including the following: inaccurate accounting records, unauthorized contracts amounting to hundreds of millions of ringgit, alleged misappropriation of funds, dubious maintenance contracts amounting to 292 million ringgit, including a contract amount of 200,000 per month to a company for gardening, cleaning, and vehicle maintenance. Award of 957 million ringgit contract to companies of a long-time associate of Eric Chia in a complaint to the police submitted in 1999, and were said he, Eric Chia, in fact, repeatedly claimed that his actions had the support and were under the direction of Prime Minister Dato Seri Dr. Mahathir. A communication from the Prime Minister himself further supports this assertion. The board was pushed to the sidelines. Tender procedures were flagrantly violated, and unsatisfactory payments were made to favored organizations. The ACA and the police waited a long time before charging Eric Chia with fraud in connection with a 2004 payment of 76 million ringgit, 0.076 billion. Only when Mahathir resigned as Prime Minister and Badawi was elected did this occur. While 76 million ringgit is certainly not a small sum of money, it pales in comparison to the projected total loss of more than 10 billion. The courts cleared Eric Chia in 2007. In conclusion, the failure of Perwaja Steel should serve as a lesson on the dangers of poor management, corruption, and the unpredictable nature of the market. Perwaja Steel, which was once a symbol of Malaysia's aspiration to become a significant player in the steel industry, was finally unable to withstand the effects of a wide variety of internal and external forces and went out of business. That's all for today. Thanks for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you're new to this channel, I strongly encourage you to subscribe and click the like button. You can also keep up with all of our most recent videos. See you in the next one.